Greetings. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. It is I, Tyler Ellison, and I'm here with my amazing friend, Starshine from the Sassani universe. She is calling in from Mount Shasta. So we have some high vibrational energies coming through the networks to envelop all you guys in higher love, wisdom, and understanding. The energies coming through during these times are incredibly powerful, and they are heavily influenced by the energies that are sometimes described as the May Day energies or the Beltane energy. So we did an event yesterday. It was all about making contact with the muse. And on Beltane, we astral projected into the higher realms of Venus, where we interacted with muse collectives. We brought that energy back into our bodies after the journey. And we then used all of that power to summon forth the mother of the muses. And this creative power has been non-stop. It was one of the first events that myself and my two wonderful friends, Mario and Lynn, all produced together. And we each had our own offerings, and it went incredibly well. So for those of you guys that came, it was a very tiny event for our first one, which it was meant to be. It was kind of a first trial of these new energies. It was super successful for the folks that came. And we appreciate everybody who's been sharing support, who's been sharing kindness and attention with us, because receiving these downloads and then creating events to talk about the downloads and to share them, it's one of the most exciting things for us to be able to do. So thank you for giving us that privilege to be able to serve you and to be able to receive these wisdom downloads and to then be able to share them with you guys. That is an incredibly fun lifestyle, and I'm really happy I get to do what I love. And it's this wonderful world we've all built that makes that possible. So Starshine, thank you for contributing to that world. Thank you for bringing the Shasta power in. Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well. Hi, everyone. Sending all my love and high vibes from Shasta. So yeah, I can't wait to get started today.
Perfect. Everybody who has been here before, you know how this works. In the live stream, we're going to have a Q&A portion where you guys get to type in your questions. Starshine is going to be scanning with her third eye fully open for the most vibrationally activated questions. When she sees your question shimmering in rainbow light, she'll know that's a good question for RYOKAH. So type in whatever questions are near and dear to your heart in that chat. Remember, this is a public space, and as a result, private questions aren't the most appropriate. I'm going to suggest private sessions for those really deep personal questions. Like, what is my grandmother telling me from the astral plane? That's a private session question, right? But what is the nature of the astral plane, and what is the nature of the grandmother spirit as it pertains to the family of humanity? That's a great question for here, because that involves so many people. So one answer is going to really shine a big light with a question like that. So you guys get to type those questions in. And we're going to take those questions after we get through our opening transmission, where RYOKAH of the Sassani will be talking about the upcoming event that we're going to be having in just 2 days from now, if you can believe it. This event I have been incredibly excited for, because this event is a Pleiadean activation event where we're going to be channeling various Pleiadian intelligences with the help of RYOKAH, learning about their stellar network, learning about their relationship to Orion, to the Anunnaki, and ultimately their relationship to extraterrestrial open contact. Many of you have probably heard they are reported to be the primary ones who are going to be making first contact with us. So they're a major group for contact enthusiasts and for what is to come in just a few years of 2027. So I just want everyone to remember what is a bunch of ideas and unusual things in the sky at this stage is going to dramatically evolve between now and the next 2 years. So we want to get everybody prepared for that. We need to be psychologically and spiritually prepared for that. Things are going to get really weird, really strange, and all of these ideas are going to become realities. So we are excited to be presenting the Pleiadian transmission tomorrow. Excuse me. I'm trying to do too many things at once. That is going to be this Sunday, excuse me, that is May 4th, and that is Alcyone activation from the Sassani Universe Contact Series. So myself, RYOKAH, and Starshine will see you guys this Sunday for that transmission. And with that being said, I'm going to go into the altered state. I'll bring RYOKAH forth. He'll talk about this transmission and what to expect, and then we will get into your questions. And I also want to say thank you, everybody, for all of the really beautiful energy that you're bringing. I can feel in our Akashic field a higher improvement in the energy. As a channeler and as a psychic in the space, it's like our collective world is becoming like a jacuzzi or a hot spring. As I'm sitting in this collective water, I can feel how there's so much good energy and love, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys for making my job easier. The better the energy is here, the more I can channel without resistance. So thanks for making that possible. I'll see you guys when we're finished. Have a beautiful time and happy Beltane. I want to thank each and every single one of you for this ecstatic co-creative interaction that we share together with one another this here, this now, this day of your times. Dear host, thank you for joining us and assisting us in co-creating this specific transmission.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you once again, as always. How are you?
It is wonderful to see you as well, and we are ecstatic, enjoying ourselves, and we are enjoying observing the process that you are all moving through, which is the process of open contact on a global level. Remember, what you do each day, the actions that you take each day, the quality of these actions creates an energy signature that either draws contact to you or pushes it away from you. Do keep in mind that contact with extraterrestrial beings externally is a step in a process. The steps before that particular one are the steps of making contact with your own inner being, making contact with your spirit guides and spirit team, making contact with the heart of the universe and the heart of the collective. These three levels of contact are essential in the summoning of that fourth level, which you all classify as global open contact. So it's one thing to contact a being, yourself included in this, your inner beings included in this description. It's one thing to contact a being. It's another thing to form a healthy, long-lasting, auspicious, beneficial relationship with someone. Contact is meant to lead to that next level. So when you make contact with your inner being, it is a joyous time of yoga, union. When you close your eyes and connect to your heart, you have made contact with yourself. The next step is understanding that relationship. Learn to speak the language of the other. Learn the culture of the other so you can co-create together, so you can become stronger together. Stronger together, more empowered together than separate. That's the idea here. So as you stabilize that contact through healthy relationship, that contact then builds from step 1 to step 2. From step 2 to step 3. From step 3 to step 4. So each level must be integrated. That is why I say each day you are either moving closer to contact or further away. When you can stabilize that attitude and mindset of excitement, passion, and generosity, kindness, when this becomes your operating system, those steps are naturally taken each day, each day. Now, as you know, each day, different triggers, emotions, thoughts, feelings come to you. Those things are supposed to come to you. They are supposed to challenge you because in overcoming those challenges, your love, your devotion, your discipline as it relates to your passion, your excitement, your compassion is increased. And climbing the ladder of consciousness becomes play. It becomes a game. Imagine if you experienced physical reality truly like a game. There are so many interesting implications that come from such a projection. Any projection's fine. You can pick any projection that you want to understand physical reality. Seeing it as a game is one of the most powerful ways to relate to this world that you're in, or that you at least appear to be in. Because once it's a game, now there's a builder, now there's cheat codes, now there's hidden levels, now there's secret characters, now there's other games you can plug into. You're all aware of the online gaming scene. By seeing physical reality as a game, all of those associations that you connect to your external games, be them games that they learned, children when they were young, or games that are played now, such as video games, when you relate to your physical reality in such a way, all of those attributes become a part of your life in a more conscious experience. Seeing this reality as a game means that it can be won. Pay attention to that. The game can be won. One. It's all one. Do you see this? To win the game is to wake up to the oneness. To recognize that it is a game so you can get busy playing it in your way. That is what achieves not only open contact, but it is what summons forth your specific version of Earth, which also includes your specific version of heaven on Earth. So have fun playing your games. You get to pick which games you play. All things are a game. All things are a play. All things are a dance. So you're always playing. You can't really opt out of it. You can only choose how you play. So play well. Play by rules that you enjoy and that uplift others. And you will find that those rules become the law of your life. We thank you for receiving this introduction. This and more will be explored during our upcoming transmission, Alcyone activation, this Sunday. We will get into all of the ins and outs of this information so you can get busy applying the Pleiadean contact codes to your 7 chakras. We will be guiding you all into the higher astral immersion of the 7 Pleiadean stars. And this will allow for you to wear the stars as garments, so you can summon the Pleiadean consciousness throughout the totality of your energy system, thus allowing for you to act as a type of Pleiadean beacon here on Earth, thus accelerating open contact. And those energies, of course, will assist you in being able to maintain that stability. So that way the triggers don't push or pull you excessively. You'll be able to maintain that connection that leads to the higher level of contact. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. If you want to know how close your version of Earth is to contact, ask yourself, how are you doing in those areas of relationship? How's your relationship with your inner being? How is your relationship with your human collective, your human family? How is your relationship with the universe? Look at these different types of relationships and see how they're doing. If you're finding that one of them's not doing so well, spend time refining that. Remember, if it's a game, it can be won. There's an outcome where you create peace in those relationships. You create health and vitality in those relationships. You can do that. You have that power. You can project, you can create whatever frequencies you desire, and you can bring them into whatever reality you desire. That doesn't mean those in such a reality will apply those energies in the way that you expect or in the way that you desire, but nevertheless, you have the right to bring what you desire to the situation, to the experience. So you have the ability to create higher situations, higher relationships where there is discomfort, where there is tension. You can make those improvements. You might not see the miracle right away, but all you have to do is initiate the energetic process. And the 5 laws will carry that energy out into full manifestation should that program, that new blessing, be energized sufficiently. So get busy accomplishing those missions, if you will. Get busy accomplishing, completing those quests. What are the points in the video game? What are the prizes? The experiences, the new energies, which allow for you to unlock new perceptions, new relationships, and even new experiences within physical reality. And open contact is one of those experiences. That's a part of the game. That's something you're all unlocking. It's a higher level. What will be really astonishing for many of you is when you come to recognize the future realities that are beyond open contact. The game will become indistinguishable from fantasy. We thank you for receiving this information and more, and now we make ourselves available to you for your questions.
Thank you. That was a great analogy of the game.
Thank you for playing with it.
Great. So let's get started. Are there any ETs living among us who look human but don't know they are ET? And if so, how will they find out their real identity?
They might not have to, but if it's relevant, it may be revealed to them through some kind of intuitive hunch or through a dream or some kind of past life memory. For some people, knowing that could be distracting from their purpose, their path, why they chose to be here. For others, it's very relevant. So it's case by case, but that information is revealed to the individual by the higher self when they are ready. So if a person is an extraterrestrial or not, is an interesting thing to consider when you're looking at other human beings. Remember, many of you are already hybridized. You've been abducted and your human genome has been changed. So are you still human or are you now a different species? Well, you're a type of hybrid. And this is the case for most people on your planet. Most of you have had some type of genetic augmentation take place. And this is very similar to the idea of going to something like a chiropractor, where they look at the spine and they can see that there's certain misalignments, there's certain adjustments that need to be made. Many ETs will play that role when they're interacting with you. They can see your DNA, they can see your genome, they can see where there's little misalignments. So they make these adjustments to assist you. Now, there are some that have their own agendas and use these abilities for whatever reason. That type of individual, cosmically, yes, exists, and beings like that, yes, they do exist, but that's not the majority. These are not the ones that are coming through channels like what you see before you. These are not the same ones that are advocating for open contact and disclosure. These other ones operate in secrecy. They like the veil, you say. We are into gently removing it. That's more of our passion. So, many of you are hybrids. If you were to compare your current genomes to that of your ancestors, you'd see some interesting differences. There are some hybrid beings that are born on craft or are born in alternate dimensions or realities, and then they are brought to Earth. Some of them are given to families. They're different needs. Not even the parents know that the child is ET. They just think a child has appeared. God's blessed them with a baby. So yes, this happens. If it's relevant for that person to know, they'll know. Their higher self will guide them in some way. It's a lot to unpack for a being. That's why it's only on a need-to-know basis. Imagine the type of homesickness many of you feel when you move away from your parents or a place of familial connection. Imagine that, but on a cosmic level. That's a lot of energy for a human, quote unquote, to have to deal with. So beings that have that capacity, they can deal with that, and they're given that information.
Okay, I can only imagine that. Um, Up next, are we going to discover any new plant medicines with more unique properties?
Of course, of course. Your Amazon is a very big medicine cupboard. Many medicines you have not discovered hanging out in the plants you already use. And there are new compounds to be discovered in plants that you do not currently see any use for. So there are certain plants that have psychoactive properties, but in order for those psychoactive properties to be realized, they must be blended with others, making a type of concoction or brew or blending. The power medicine, the psychedelic power medicine known as ayahuasca, is like this. There are many other mystical, magical plant medicines yet to be created that are also produced through a similar synergy, combining two different plants that activate and potentiate a psychedelic effect. You will find that DMT, dimethyltryptamine, is the psychedelic basic chemical. If you were to look at psilocybin in your psychedelic mushrooms, what you would find is it is only slightly different than the molecular composition of dimethyltryptamine. They're very similar. So DMT, which you make in your body, this is the baseline psychedelic chemical and chemical geometry for the spirit world. Different plant formulas can create a DMT high, if you will, through slowing down the body's natural breakdown of that molecule. The different brews that are created that encourage such a process will produce a different version of the DMT. Just as ayahuasca has its own version, if you will, its own spirit, the other plant medicines that are to be created also have their own spirit as well. So there are many new formulas to be developed. There are many new plants to be discovered that have some of these effects, and there are new chemicals that will be discovered, new molecules that will be discovered that are already in the plants that you know about. They just need to be leveraged in a certain way to produce the effect. So that's there. Remember, you have not even discovered all of the planets in your solar system. You have not even discovered all of the organs in your body. You have a lot left to see. You are nowhere near complete in your knowledge. And I say that to excite you. Get busy discovering. It has not all been figured out. That's what you're told, so you don't bother looking behind the curtain. Look behind the curtain. Get curious. Your scientists don't have all the answers. If they did, why would they keep practicing science? They're constantly rewriting what they think they know, especially at this level, because so many new insights are being downloaded. So get busy playing the game. If you play it curiously, well, you will unlock many new levels of experience.
Thank you. Up
You're welcome.
next, can you share some techniques for outer body experiences, please?
Step one, relax yourself. And in that relaxation, you also ought to be detoxifying your mind and your emotional body, because many have experienced the following. They're out of body, astral projection, soaring through the astral plane, having a powerful experience, and then all of a sudden, they remember that their mother said something perhaps selfish to them that morning. And now all of a sudden, they're angry in the astral plane. They start getting upset, and then before they know it, they're back in their body. So if you try to astral project, but you bring the stress, the energy of the day with you, it's going to literally hold you down. That's the karma. For those of you that question if karma's real, does karma have an effect on me? Will karma cause me to reincarnate? Look at this example. If you astral project and start having bad thoughts and it pulls you back to your body, that answers that question. Which means clearing yourself of karma, attachment to memory, is as simple as breathing and relaxing yourself. If you can clear yourself of that, you're karma free, you see. And you can do whatever you like. Now, do keep in mind when you're astral projecting, flying around, you're creating more karma. You're creating astral karma. And then that is integrated with the neutralized karma of the physical body upon returning to the physical body. And now the astral plane is able to overlay itself in physical reality through your physical form, having absorbed that energy from the journey. Step one, relax. Breathing exercises, full body shaking, self-massage, whatever you got to do. But relax, get the stresses of the days out of you. Step two, become aware of your energy body. Now, that's going to mean many different things to many people, but I'm going to describe that here in a very easy to understand way. Become aware of your aura, become aware of your center channel, your back channel, and front channel. Notice your energy body. Those are the basic structures: aura, center channel, front channel, back channel. Feel your energy body. That's step two. Step three, energize your energy body. Start to do breathing exercises, empowering the chakras, empowering the centers. You want to become more aware of energy body at this stage than physical body. You want to start to feel energy bodies becoming your primary body. Now, if you don't train in energy arts at all, you don't do any microcosmic orbit, you don't do any belt channel circulation, you don't do any meridian extensions, your energy body is not going to have too much structure. It might feel hard to sense it. It might prove challenging. So be doing some kind of energy circulation techniques where you're exercising those meridians so you can feel them. Just as you exercise your physical body to get a nice structure, you need to do that with your energy body too. Otherwise, it's going to be like a pile of mist. And you don't know how to move it. So it's important to have those skills. Astral projection is an advanced technique. So I am assuming in this answer, I'm talking to an advanced student who practices devotedly energy circulations. So I'm making that assumption as I give this. So let this answer be heard in that context. Once you have energized energy body and you feel energy body more than physical body, now the idea is to pick a chakra of projection. You have many options here. You can technically project out of any chakra. However, not all of them have the same effect. So the most basic ones: third eye, crown, perineum. These are the most basic areas to project out of. Third eye and crown, they're the most common. Third eye is going to be more visual, and it's going to help you tune into the astral version of the present moment. If you go out through the crown, you're going into a higher dimensional version of the present moment that more greatly corresponds with your future. So pick whatever portal you like. The idea is to simply see the chakra as a door. You can get very creative with that. It could be like a spaceship door. Could be like a magical door. It could even be a type of biological portal. You could pick the yoni if you wanted to. That's also valid. It's more of a sexual or tantric technique, also appropriate. But conceptualize a portal here at the chakra. And the idea is to send your mind through that portal into your space and then position your viewpoint so you're looking at your physical body. And just spend some time looking at your physical body from outside of your physical body, standing or floating before it. Once you can hold that view, you can see your physical body in its meditative position. Now start to move around a little bit. Go very slowly. Just start going up, down, back to center, left, right, back to center. Just start going very slowly with movements. You're doing this in your room. You're not going anywhere else. You're still in your own local space. Once you have that cross formation down, practice doing spirals, clockwise, counterclockwise. Practice doing figure eights. Once you have all of that down, now start to move around your room. Start to play with the objects. If you could imagine they had a taste, what would they taste like? A smell, what would they smell like? A sound, what would they sound like? A feeling, what would they feel like? Start to bring your senses into your experimentation with the objects and the contents of the room. When you're done, bring yourself back to that doorway, that chakra point, and anchor your mind back down into your tailbone, your center of gravity. Anchor yourself. Feel the energy body dissolving into physical body. Dissolve it back down. Make it solid so that way you're not in la-la land while you're driving your car. You see. But that's how you can begin the astral process. And there's many more steps of exploration after that. Going into other dimensions, going into other time periods, going into alternate realities, going into other forms. You can even enter astrally into the form of another being. There's all types of possibilities, but those first steps are very important. That's how you can create a repeatable success in your astral experience. Follow those steps.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Up next, so there was a power outage in Spain and Portugal. Can you speak on the significance of that?
It's to get your attention. Everything's hunky-dory. Everything's business as usual until the lights go out. Everyone's civil. Everyone's calm until the power's cut. It's meant to challenge you a little bit so you can see what's behind the surface of your culture, so you can then make improvements to it. Not only that, it's also designed to show you the vulnerabilities in your infrastructure so you can improve that. That's the reason this has shown up. What you saw here, that can happen in other places. It can happen on a larger scale. And it can happen for longer periods of time if there are vulnerabilities and if there are misalignments that are not adjusted in a aligned, healthy way. So this is a lesson to help humans understand the importance of working together and cooperation. If you become too reliant on technology, well, if the technology goes away, now most people will feel powerless. So what do you have? A bunch of people in fear who feel that they are lacking power. It's a recipe for conflict. So knowing that, what is the true power that you can draw upon at all times, whether you have electrical technology or not? What is that power? Because that's what used to hold your civilization together before you built this electric grid. And it did it very well. It did it better than your current electrical grid by your own human standards. Remember, your modern electrical grid is just a recapitulation of what was a part of Atlantis. So keep in mind, grids have existed. Electrical grids are just one form of power distribution. And of course, if you are dependent on something like that, your power can go away. But if your power is spiritual, well, you draw upon an immortal spiritual grid. The electricity might get cut, but you can synchronize with whatever reality you need. Whatever synchronicity you need to accomplish what is needed can be achieved with spiritual power. So it doesn't matter if the lights are out or if they're on. You'll manifest a candle or a flashlight or the sun, you see. Something will happen. When you have the spiritual power, it doesn't matter what's happening outside of you. You can make a change to help you create whatever you need. When all humans have this, no one on your planet will be excessively dependent on these external technologies. Instead, you'll have a more reasonable relationship with them, and they won't be so tied up with your fight or flight survival mechanisms. So I say all of this to let you know that your status quo is held together by many things that you assume are permanent. If things are not kept up to standard, those things can go away. And if that does happen, don't freak out, don't panic. Use the spiritual power to compensate, and you'll steer the ship back to a successful direction. That's why that showed up, to reveal those areas of insecurity. So that way corrections can be made.
Speaking of power, there's actually another related question to this. So Bashar said that we fear our power as humans. Can you describe what this actually means?
Sure. I want you to think of the highest power. I have a hint. It begins with 3 letters. G-O-D. Generation, order, destruction. Most people are fine with generation. They like creating. They like bringing things into the world. But that's only one part of creation, generation. Organization is the second part. Some people have a problem with that. Organization might be telling other people what to do. Organization might be being a boss. Organization might be carrying out justice, enforcing rules. Many people have a problem with that, but that is a part of creative power, organization. Destruction, D. This is removing what no longer serves. This is also a creative action, even though it looks like destruction. Creativity and destruction are very much connected. So that last part of creativity is actually destruction, removing what no longer serves, releasing the excess. And many people do not enjoy that because they associate it with death. Nevertheless, your power is made of those three parts. So if you neglect any of those parts, you will have an imbalance with your own power, which means you will act out in some kind of way to either hide your power or to get the power of someone else. If you have an issue with your power, you will play power games. It's 100% guaranteed. 100%. So if you're out there thinking, I'm an angel, I don't hurt anyone, I don't do anything bad, I am this innocent person who can only do good, I'm telling you, right now, you are only looking at one part of yourself. There's at least two other parts you are not nourishing, and you're likely playing unconscious power games with many people as a way to compensate for the deficiencies of those other two parts to your creative power. So you must have all three. There is nothing shameful or wrong about organizing your life. There's nothing shameful or wrong about taking out the trash and removing what no longer serves. So have a healthy relationship with all three parts of your power. You have no need to fear it. As long as you wield it well, it will serve you well. If you wield your power in a neglectful way, well, it's going to bite you. That's why people feel their power, because they misuse it, they get hurt by it, and then they think it's bad. I'm here to tell you it's not. So get busy. You got to win the game. Game must be won. It's all won. You're going to need some power to do that. What does the video game character have to get? HP points. Yes, to boost their health. So accumulate the power. You have no need to fear that. Remember, this universe was built through divine power, being guided by love and intelligence. So you have no need to fear it. Remember, power is a trinity. If you have love, if you have wisdom, your power will always be used well. You see? So think of it as a trinity. You'll do fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Up next, what ancient cosmic agreements did the African soul groups make before incarnating on Earth? And how are these being remembered and played out now?
Can you repeat this question? It's a big question. The African soul groups? This is so many generations, and there's so many soul groups in Africa. So please ask this again. This is a very multidimensional question, and we must answer it very specifically so we can represent the myriad of different souls that are a part of the Africa Oversoul network. So what is the question?
Well, I think he was asking a very general question, so specific to which tribe or which soul group.
What is the question? Can you repeat the question?
The question was, what ancient cosmic agreements did the African soul groups make before incarnating on Earth, and how are these being remembered or awakened today?
Sure. Thank you for repeating it. So it is a general question meant to get into specifics, so it's a little challenging to answer in a simple way. But remember that the African soul groups have a strong connection to the Anunnaki and to the Sirius Collective. They also have a strong relationship to the Orion system. So souls from these three groups really began incarnating in the myriad of different species that blossomed within the continent of Africa. Remember, it's not just that extraterrestrial beings were coming to Earth and making humans. They were making all types of different forms of life. So souls from these three different groups could incarnate into these novel forms on Earth, and they could evolve in new ways that would allow for them to experience greater diversity, greater adventure, and novelty, thus enriching their consciousness and thus enriching the expansion of the universe. Because beings at that level of existence, their main thing is exploring the cosmos. Exploration becomes the top quality at the higher levels of consciousness. So by creating these new physical beings, by creating these new species, they are able to experience many of these new levels of consciousness in a physical way, which helps them in that universal expansion process. Because you can understand something physically, because physical reality is a fractal of the collective, you can understand the collective very well. So these three groups generated a myriad of different forms within the continent of Africa. The souls that came in to those groups agreed to be a part of such a creative process because not only were they the living pioneers of such innovation, but they became the ancestral template for many species to draw upon. So those were the main attractions for those souls that incarnated into these myriads of novel body types generated within the continent of Africa.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Can I ask you something very strange? So I'm in Mount Shasta right now, and I'm sitting on the porch, and I literally thought I saw a black shadow just move past me, but now I don't see anything. So I imagine locations like these have a lot of energies, as it's obviously a huge vortex and a portal. Are these locations conducive to contact, and how would we go about that?
They are very supportive for contact because this is where that veil separating the parallel realities and dimensions is much thinner. So you can make contact telepathically with greater ease in a place like Shasta, but physical contact is possible in a place like Shasta. Now, alternate versions of humanity, you're more likely to interact with them. These are the Lemurians, these are the Atlanteans. They're more common there and they're more physical. So you're more likely to have an interaction with them, but you can still very easily interact with different celestial groups. They are also available for communication here. So in terms of how to go about it, remember, different techniques are good for different skill sets. For someone who really is brand new to spirituality, just sitting on the mountain, connecting their three minds, head, heart, belly, rolling the eyes up, having that desire for contact and that love for contact as an intention directed upwardly. And they just rest, seated in meditation, unified with their eyes rolled up. Eyes are closed and they're sending love. Very basic. You're just sitting, breathing, smiling. That will work. Now, when I say that will work, what does that mean? It might not work in the way you expect it to work, but that will work. It will be heard, especially in a place like that. So for someone who's basic, someone who's brand new to this type of stuff, focus on simple techniques. You don't have to do complex, sophisticated things to accomplish what you want energetically. So if you are a beginner, work with simple techniques. Sit on the mountain, smile to your head, activate the third eye. Smile to your heart, activate the heart chakra. Smile to your belly, activate your intestines and your intestinal power. From here, feel your heart open, feel love growing, roll your eyes up, and just send your mind into the universe. And while you're extending up here, invite extraterrestrial beings to come and join you. Now, think of that as the basic technique. How do you make this advanced? From here, see that different spaceships begin to show up and just see that they observe you. See that they start gathering around your perspective. Your perspective is high in the universe above your body. Start to imagine they're showing up around you while you're projected above. And then begin to imagine you can actually see into the spaceship, see these beings, start to see what they look like. You can also see that they're waving at you. Really observe these intricacies. And what will seem like fantasy at first will then begin to reveal to you genuine information. Spend as much time as you like at this stage, just noticing, observing, and feeling. When you're finished, take a nice inhale and see all of this ET energy condenses as an orb of light. Bring it down to your crown, down your center channel, and store it in your intestines as an orb in your center of gravity. And ask that you be a beacon for contact. Ask that these beings notice you and that they appear and reveal themselves and their love, their glory, and wisdom to you. And ask that this be guaranteed. Ask that this occur within this incarnation. And ask that this complement and uplift all dimensions of your life in an auspicious way, especially those dimensions that are connected to your true will, your primary passion, your purpose. And that's something you can do that will absolutely draw these beings to you, and it will synchronize you with them. So from here, let's say you've done step 1 and step 2. You've done these 2 meditations. Now, you open your eyes and you're seated on the mountain. Sit on back and recline. Just watch the sky. Stay in the state. And you will start to notice things inside and out. So that would be step 3. Does this make sense for you?
Thank you so much.
You're so
So,
welcome.
so can you share what was it that I perceived just now?
Sure, we can. One moment.
Thank you.
It's not appropriate for us to share it at this time. We'll take the next question from the audience.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, can you share some of the more unusual civilizations that you discovered in your own travel journeys? And are there galaxies that are not inhabited by other beings?
There are many galaxies that exist, and these many galaxies are all inhabited. Ask the question again, please.
What are some of the most unusual civilizations you've come across in your
Okay,
own?
question 1. Go on.
The second one was, are there any galaxies that are not inhabited by beings?
Great. This is 2 questions. Which one?
Well, I guess both of them, if you can.
One question per person. When people bring to us conglomerate questions, we're just letting you know this. The channel has to hear all of this. It has to pass through his nervous system. His nervous system is telepathically communicating this to me. So if the questions are excessive, his nervous system can get overwhelmed. It doesn't translate into my reality clearly, and I can't hear you. Do you all understand this? Just as you get overwhelmed with information when someone's speaking to you, remember, you're talking to a human body right now, possessed by an extraterrestrial. So let's focus on one thing at a time. The most unusual species we have encountered. We have encountered a being that is sort of like many beings put together. I'm going to describe something very strange to you. It's unusual. You asked for the unusual. I'd like for you to imagine that the entire sky or the entire ground, it's up to you, is made up of an infinite being whose body expresses as giant tendrils, tentacles that extend into the universe. These are beings we have observed. They do not have physical bodies. They do not have physical forms. They can interact with physical bodies and forms. They exist primarily as a type of multi-dimensional being that is massive in size. Its tendrils are able to extend into multiple matrices, allowing for this being to make telepathic contact with different intelligences that exist within the matrix it has projected its tendril into. This type of being has been described by some of your occult horror authors. Look into the works of Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft. You'll find some interesting similarities between some of those beings. But that is one group we've encountered. They are individual in that each tentacle or tendril is like a mind, but they are collective in that they're really one being expressing itself. And they are able to interact with whomever they desire as long as that person is resonant with them. You see, they have their own agenda. They have their own games that they play. But that's an unusual one. Second question. Please read it to us.
So, are there any galaxies that are not inhabited by other beings?
All forms of matrix are inhabited and are alive with beings. The photons flickering through the air, they're alive with beings. There's beings inside of them. Everything is teeming with life. Just as you have this idea of everything's covered with bacteria in physical reality, that's a hint. Bacteria's life. Everything is made of life. Even the immaterial things have bacteria on them. Life bubbles up everywhere. Everything is made of beings. You have to transcend the materialistic spell that there's these things that exist out in the world that don't have life, that don't have consciousness, that don't have intelligence. All things have this. All things are made of the angels. All things are made of the Anunnaki. All things are made of the Elohim. All things are made of the lords of light. All things are based upon templates of light. These templates are energized by beings of light. You yourselves are beings of light, densified into form. So these galaxies that exist, they're made of life. There's beings that exist within them. This doesn't mean that they're physical beings that you could shake hands with, but there's still beings there. And they have influence just like you have influence. They have will just like you have will. It's just that their domain is more so connected to the stellar realm. Yours is more connected to the physical realm, but you're entangled nevertheless. If there was something in existence that did not have life or beingness connected to it, you would not be able to perceive it. Because you perceive it, it has a level of beingness to it. It has a level of life to it. Remember, your most ancient world religion. Not really an official one, but it might as well have been because it was believed across your whole planet. Animism, that all things have a spirit. So there is no barren universe. Everything is teeming with life, even if you can't see it.
Okay,
Excellent
thank you.
questions. We appreciate it. In the future, divide them up, and we will give you excellent answers.
All right.
All right.
The next one is, do we
That
have
is
time?
all for today. That is all for today. Thank you for bringing the questions to us. We're going to slow down a little bit. If you want to ask us more questions, we encourage you, come join us at the upcoming event this Sunday. It will be so exciting to take your questions there and to go deeper with all of you. We thank you for this interaction, and we share with you more light, more love, and more wisdom on this day, because you have all agreed to allow more light, more love, more wisdom into your lives. We thank you for opening that door to love. We thank you for opening that door to contact. We thank you for opening that door to inner and outer beauty and respect. We thank you for allowing that light to enter in, illuminating the glory, the gifts, and the blessings that populate every nook and cranny of your life. Even if they are invisible to you at this time, rest assured, the light you are letting in will reveal the miracles. Remember the mantra, I am a miracle. I am a miracle. I am a miracle. And when you think this mantra, remember that you are also projecting it onto whatever you're observing. Therefore, the subject matter of your observation is also miraculous. We thank you for sharing this life and light with us, and we will see you this Sunday for Alcyone activation. Okay. Excellent work. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for all the great questions. I had a really good time being able to dive in to those subjects. You're asking very occult questions and nuanced questions. So we deeply appreciate these questions because good questions produce good answers. Thank you guys for making this possible. We're looking forward to seeing you all this Sunday. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy this part 2 to Beltane, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you later.